Okay, so welcome all Druid competitors. And this video is all a briefing for all of the people who are taking part in next week's event. So normally I stand up in front of you and do this with all of you before every start. I'm going to have to record this one because obviously we can't stand in front and have big crowds doing that when we are together next week. So I'm going to go through the safety side of things. I'm going to go through the procedures and the way it's going to work. And any other information that I think you need to know to make the event safe and special for you. So obviously the event is subject to whatever the government decides they're going to do over the next week. So at the moment it looks like it's all going ahead and we're all going to be fine. But who knows what's going to happen, and we'll update you as and when. But I'm going to plow on with this video assuming everything is going to go ahead as normal. So there are three objectives we have at Extreme Energy with our events. The first one is it needs to be challenging, and because it's we like extreme distance running. It has to be challenging. Therefore, 50 kilometers each day, 100 kilometers over the weekend. That's going to feel challenging, especially under soft ground, lots of hills. So you're definitely going to go home Sunday night feeling like you've had a very special weekend. It has to be fun. A fun atmosphere is really important for us as well, so that you've got that great feeling as you're going around as well. It's not just about enduring the weekend, it's about enjoying the weekend. And finally, it has to be safe, and a big part of this briefing is about the safety aspects as well. So I've got my notes here as well, so I'm going to keep looking at my notes. So the Ridgeway itself. So normally we run the full length of the Ridgeway, and we chose the Ridgeway. It's the oldest routeway in the UK. It's more than 5,000 years old. It's been travelled by every single army that's ever invaded this country, from Romans to Saxons to Normans. And it's been run and walked by Druids over the years. And from XNRG, we've had nearly 1,700 of you doing this over the last 12 years. It's regularly used, and it was set up originally as a marathon disabler training weekend. And I know that many of you are using it as an opportunity to get back-to-back long-distance runs in. And some of you I know will be doing it with Kid as well. So good luck with that. I know many of you looking at the start list have done lots of our events before. And it's great to see you. And it'll be great to see you next weekend. So welcome back. And for those who've never done one of our events before, welcome. It great to have you along. And we hope that you enjoy the experience under these strange circumstances. So let's just give you a few facts about the people we're going to have there for the weekend. So we're going to have about 180 people over the weekend running, which is great. It's a normal kind of number for the Druid. Our oldest competitor this weekend is 72, and our youngest is 22. The average age is 47. We've got 40% ladies, which is quite high for this event, and 60% men. So a good showing for the lady ultra runners. So great to see you next week. We've got one birthday, and I would normally sing happy birthday to people over the weekend. We've got one birthday, which is Michael Edwards on Sunday. So happy birthday, Michael. And if we know who you are at the race start, we'll say happy birthday to you there. Anyway, let's jump on. So I just want to mention our sponsors as well. Apex Sport over in Farnham, Precision Hydration, Imperial Vehicles, and 9 Bar. Like all events, we couldn't do these events without having support from our sponsors. So thank you to them. Okay, let's get into the meat of it. Arrival procedure. When you arrive, you will be guided to a car park. There are no changing rooms on site, so you need to change in your car, change in around your car, and then approach the medical area when you are ready to be temperature checked, have your questions, and move into the safe area, which is the race area. You're going to be allocated a 1 hour start window between, it'll be between 8 and 9, or between 9 and 10, or between 10 and 10:30. I think those are the three start times we're going to go with. Now, if everybody turns up in that start window at 9 o'clock or at 8 o'clock, we're going to have long queues of people waiting to go through the safety check. So what we'd ask you to do is turn up, spread your time over that hour period. Don't just turn up all at the same time. And ideally, we want our faster runners going off later on. So if you find that we've put you in the 8 to 9 o'clock window and you are a 5 or 6 hour 30-mile runner, then please go off between 9 and 10, not in the 8 to 9 window. If you're a walker, then please go off as close to 8 o'clock as you can. Okay, so really important that you spread yourselves out over that time, but it's also important that you stick to the hour we've allocated you. Otherwise, we're going to have too many people there. Please don't turn up at the start area sooner than... So you want to arrive at the car park about 30 minutes before you start. You then walk into the medical area. You'll get your check. You'll be given your... Then move to get your wrist tag where you get a number written on it. Then you go get your timing tag, and then you go straight to the start. If you need the loo, there is a loo near the start, but that's the only inside area we've got. So literally, you're moving medical area, pick up your number on your wristband, go and get your timing tag, straight through to the start, and then you're off. Every 30 seconds, we're going to get you off. So that's the start procedure. At all times, if you're queuing, if you're in the area and you're seeing friends and stuff, please social distance. Please keep yourself as far apart as possible. Please hand sanitize regularly and wear masks whenever you go inside. Okay, let's talk about the ground. The ground is undulating. Okay, it's an undulating route in the Chiltern Hills. You're on footpaths, you're on byways, you're on bridleways. It is muddy, slippery. The chalk is very slippery in certain areas. The leaves have all come down, so all the roots and the rocks are hidden. All the trip hazards are hidden. So you're going to have to be very careful underfoot. So it's 95% off-road, and some of those sections are quite hilly, quite muddy, and it's what you'd expect at this time of year on an off-road event. Weather. The weather is looking like next weekend could be okay. It could be fine on Saturday with a chance of rain on Sunday, around 12 degrees. So from a safety point of view or a health and safety point of view, you're just going to have to make sure you're hydrating regularly. You know, when you put your waterproof on and you start sweating, it's important that you are hydrating because you will sweat slightly more. But it's also important that you put layers on if you are starting to feel the cold, especially if there's a wind or if there's rain. So that's the weather. Now let's talk about the race format. So the race is a straight timed run. Nothing more complicated than that. You're heading out towards a turnaround point. You're turning around and you're running back on the same route. Except on day 2 where there's a little loop at the end, but I'll explain that in a minute. So when you come to the finish, you will just come through the finish arch. That's your time. You will have a tag that goes around your wrist, which has a little light on it. When you go through the start, it will light up. At each checkpoint, there is a control box. You go past the control box about, a meter away, and it will light up. That records your time, sends it up to the internet, so we've then got your time recorded. You will then go past each of the checkpoints, and then on the way back, same again, through the finish, your light will flash, and that is your time done. So that is the race format. So let's just talk about the route. So the route is mainly Ridgeway. In fact, day 1 is 100% Ridgeway. You're following it out and you're following it back. The Ridgeway is one of the most used national trails in the UK. You are following finger post signs that say Ridgeway with an acorn. You are also following circular signs that have a arrow in them and they'll have an acorn in the centre, say Ridgeway around the outside. We will put red and white tape around those posts so you can see the posts. Where we need to, we will put the odd XNRG yellow sign out. And you will also see a couple of big signs out if we need to divert you off the route at any point. But on day 1, you shouldn't see any of those apart from maybe near the start and near the finish. You will also, on the way back, we will have glow sticks out and we will have tape which is reflective with head torches for about the last 5 miles. Okay, so for those that are finishing in the dark, we will have glow sticks out and reflective tape out showing you a bit more of the route so that you can find it in the dark. On day 2, you're following the Ridgeway for 14 miles on the way out. You'll then be diverted off the Ridgeway down to the aid station, which is the turnaround point, and then you'll be diverted with a big arrow, some tape marking the route down, and then you'll be go to the aid station, the turnaround point, and then you'll be diverted back, slightly different route back, but it just joins you back on the Ridgeway. Once you're on the Ridgeway, you're just following the Ridgeway all the way back. We will be giving you maps at the start, which will have the medics details on and our emergency details on. So you'll be getting that as well. So hazards. There are hazards en route. I've mentioned some of the trip hazards and the hazards underfoot. You are crossing lots of roads. Please be careful when you're crossing roads. Check both ways. Make sure you can see. If you've got headphones in, please take them out or switch music off when you're approaching roads so that you can hear what's going on. On day 2, you are crossing a railway, which means you need to stop, look, listen. You need to look both ways. You need to make sure it's clear and then cross. The railway line people will normally put someone there to marshal that. We will also mark that as well. But be cautious crossing the railway both ways, out and back. There are other route users out there. Again, be careful of those, please, as well. It's important that you are courteous to horse riders, mountain bikers, dog walkers. They're all hazards for you, but it's also important we keep our distance. We don't upset any of the public by overwhelming them with lots of people. The only other thing I'd say is if there's any wood, if you're crossing any wooden stiles or anything like that, it's going to be slippery, so just be careful with that. Okay, the checkpoints. So we will have 3 checkpoints each day. So you go past checkpoint 1 on the way out. Checkpoint 2 will be the turnaround point, and then you'll go past checkpoint 1 again, so it becomes checkpoint 3 on the way back. They are roughly around 7.5 miles in and 7.5 miles between each checkpoint. The checkpoint procedure, so we need to keep you apart in the checkpoints. So when you get to the checkpoint, you will be stopped on the outside of the checkpoint. You will be asked to hand sanitize. You will then be invited to go to a table. The table will have some food things on it, which are pre-packaged, like bars of food, like packets of biscuits, that kind of thing. It's not our normal buffet of wonderful food. We can't do that this time. And there'll be a water butt there or a jug where you can fill up your water bottle. You will, once you've finished, please move away from the table so the next person can come in as well. If you've got a mask in your pocket, please put it on as you come into the checkpoint, just for the benefit of the staff that are there. Okay, you're going to have to be patient at the checkpoints because the chances are there'll be more than 3 or 4 of you there, and we might have to hold you back until you can go through. Make sure your time is also recorded as you go through the checkpoint. The checkpoints will be open and close once all the runners have gone through. Okay, we're not going to put any limits on those. Okay, so that's the checkpoint procedures. Okay, actions on. Now this is important. This is the safety stuff. If you get injured, there are 3 levels of injury I need you to take into account. The first one is please try and get to a checkpoint where we can recover you. The medics will be out on the course and we can get them to you, or we can get one of our staff in a minibus to come and pick you up. If you can't get to a checkpoint, try and get somewhere recognisable, where a road name, a church, a pub, anything you can tell us when you phone us so that we know where you are and we can come and recover you. If it's serious, so if you see someone collapse, if someone gets knocked over, it's 999 first. Don't phone us, phone the emergency services. The emergency services will work with our medical team to coordinate the incident. Okay, if you get lost, the key thing about this is be patient. You know, if you've got a hat on because it's raining, make sure you are taking your time and looking at the signs and you're going the right way. The Ridgeway is a major trail. If you find yourself going down some overgrown small route, you're probably going the wrong way. So follow the Ridgeway signs. It is well marked. Keep an eye on the signs. Keep an eye on where other runners are going. If you haven't seen a sign for a while or you're unsure, go back to where you last felt comfortable you were on the route. Don't try and make the incident worse by thinking, you know, if I go this way and this way, I'll be okay. If you really are still lost and you're struggling, ask locals or phone us and tell us, give us some information about where you are and we'll try and get you back on the route. If you have to withdraw, please only withdraw at a checkpoint. Don't withdraw anywhere else. The checkpoint staff have been told to take that they need to know that you are withdrawing so that we can then we're not looking for you later on. We will come and pick you up if you're withdrawing at a checkpoint when we can. We won't be able to do it instantly, but when we can, we'll come and recover you. Now, if it's dark, we need you to wear head torches. It's dangerous underfoot, as I've already talked about. It gets very dark in some of the wooded areas. So it's really important you have a head torch on when it's dark. And my suggestion would be everyone carries a head torch, because even if you're a fast runner, you never know, you might get you might get held up, you might get an injury, you might be slower than you think, and you end up finishing in the dark. So please make sure you have a head torch after dark. In fact, we won't let people continue past the checkpoint if it is dark and they haven't got a head torch. When you get to the finish area, we want you to come through the finish arch. We want you to hand in your timing tag. There'll be a box there to put the timing tag in. You then pick up your medal from the table, pick up your t-shirt from the table. There'll be a tea and coffee and cakes packed up ready for you to pick up. Please grab those. And then, unfortunately, and I hate this because we really want to welcome you and get, have a great social environment, we're going to have to ask you to head to your car and head off to your hotel or head home, because we can't have lots of people getting together at the finish. So please grab your teas and coffees, grab your cakes, head off to your car, and then we'll see you on the Sunday morning. Finally, look, we just want you to enjoy the event. We're so pleased we're able to put an event on at the moment, or fingers crossed we can put on an event. We know you're giving up your weekend to get out on the trails and do something you love. We want you to have a fabulous time. We want you to enjoy it. And we want to make sure that we do everything we can to do that. So please be careful. Please be mindful of everybody out there. Support your fellow competitors. It's the ultra running way. And we really, really look forward to seeing you next weekend. All the best.